All right. Now, when we're doing campaigns, there's two main campaigns you can go for. There's the website traffic where you just want to get traffic to the website, and then there's other ones where you're kind of more focused on sales. The difference between both of these is, from what I've been told by Google Insider, is that if you're doing sales, it's basically Google kind of knows what people are more like impulsive buyers that are gonna more
Yeah.
likely lead to a sale,
Mm,
right? Versus traffic, where traffic you might just want to build a client base, people that may not end up buying stuff, but they may end up subscribing,
mm-hmm.
right? So it really depends what your approach is in the beginning. Let's go ahead. We're gonna go for the sales for today, okay? And everything else will be similar, you know. As far as we call these conversion goals, we're going to take off everything except for purchases because we're only right now focused on purchases. So we don't care about these other engagements here. This is not relevant to us, right? And so this is just for conversions. When someone actually clicks your ad and does what you want them to do, we call this a conversion. So in this case, I would just probably just choose the purchases here because some people will add to cart, but they won't end up buying, right?
Right.
So let's just go with purchases here, right? And you can see right now, now this, when you normally get set up here, if you want this to actually be working properly, conversions, you have to use something called Google Tag Manager. And this can happen later on. You don't have to do this right away, but later on, if you're wanting to track your conversions properly, you just have to connect your Google Tag Manager to your
Mm-hmm.
website. And I can show you how to do that. Actually, it's actually not hard connecting your Google Tag Manager, but you will have to create, I believe, your Google Tag Manager account and get that going. Once your Google Tag Manager is created, then you will go to Wix and you'll just connect that to your website. And I can show you that at a later step. It's very easy. It's in marketing integrations. You'll just connect Google Tag Manager, and then everything will be automated. This will be kind of a more of a realistic thing for you that they'll count as a conversion on your website. Okay, so we're gonna add one goal. Click continue, and this is where you choose what kind of ad you want to run. So in this case, we're gonna do a search ad. Now, I am currently experimenting with what I call a performance max, which
Mm-hmm.
shows it across like everywhere. It shows it on Google, on YouTube, on Google search, on other websites. You know, kind of shows them across a bunch of different platforms. And I'm gonna see how this runs. I'm gonna see if this gets me a lower cost. If it does give me a lower cost, I'm gonna send an email out to all the franchisees saying, "Hey guys, you know, I recommend doing this. Run this as a separate ad. It'll get lower cost." This is a display. So display is just when you're showing on websites. Even
Yeah.
when you're browsing the website, sometimes you accidentally click an ad you never meant to. But keep in mind your costs are lower per click. Is your costs are lower on a display ad, right? But you have to keep in mind too that not not everyone that clicks meant to click, right?
Right.
So just keep that in mind. It's a lower cost. It does work. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but for the time being, we're gonna do the most direct, which is a search ad. All
Mm-hmm.
right. And then down here, you can see they got a video ads too, which is that one video ad had running. Let's go for the search ad. This is going to be people who directly go to Google and search your keywords. Website visits. All right. And then for website visits here, we're just going to type in the website, right? So here you would type in what your website is,
Yeah.
just like that. And then give your ad a name. Give it a nice descriptive name. You know, we know we're going for all English countries. So I would just put, you know, all English, whatever your main keywords are. Maybe it's general keyword, PLR keywords. And I'm just gonna put test because I'm just showing this for testing purposes. So we're gonna go continue. Okay, and we're gonna go start new here. All right, so there you go. Now we're in biddings. So our bidding, normally if we're doing it for sales, we're focused on conversions, right? So I usually
Yeah.
just if we're doing it for conversions, we're just gonna focus on conversions there, right? You'll see there's a conversion. You can also do conversion value. I think when we're starting off, it's best to do it as a conversion value and let the ad run for a month, because later, once your ad starts running, you can later come in and set ad spend here, right? So which is like a percentage, right? So
Right.
you can tell Google how much percent of you're willing to spend on your ads for your conversions, right? So we kind of leave that the way it is, but you can see there's different ways of doing your ads. There's conversions. You can also do it by clicks, right? This would be kind of more for the website traffic. If you're doing website traffic, you can also focus on clicks. And then later, like I said, when you're running your website for a month, you can come back, set a maximum cost per click. Because when you run for a month, it's going to tell you what your average cost per click is. You could come back in here, you could set this at just a little above what your average is. And then that way you're not spending a whole lot on ads. It really depends on how you're running your budget, right?
Yeah.
So for the time being, let's go for the conversion value. Get that set up, conversion value, and we'll have this unchecked. Click next. And then I usually recommend using both of these because Google's it's gonna use the search network first. If it runs out of um, ads, like let's say you have some leftover ad budget, it will use the
Yeah.
display network to use up that rest of that budget. So I usually leave both of these checked. This is where we enter our countries here. So enter locations, right? This is where you're going to enter your countries that you've done your keyword research for. Now keep in mind, US is definitely going to be the highest bidding country. So like your ads are gonna end up costing more in the US. So you're free to run the US as a separate ad campaign if you want, because they will have the highest ad spend. And then these other countries like Canada, UK, and Australia, they're gonna have a lower, probably about almost a half of the ad spend as compared to the US. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's type in South Africa here as well. And then Australia. There we go. So you got all your countries there, and then you can check this as the first one. Now, normally you could say you just want people present in those countries, but in this case, to us, it's not really relevant because we're an international market. You can sell anywhere, right? If someone even next to UK and Germany, you looks up PLR ads, why not show them? You're gonna pay less for the ad spend in UK versus UK, right?
Right.
So I just kind of keep it as presence or people who are interested in these countries, right? So it's just anyone that looks up your keywords, they get a chance to see your ads. All right. Audience segments, don't worry about that. This is something you don't have to touch here. And then we're going to keep everything the way it is here. Off, and we just keep everything the way it is on the bottom there. We're going to click next. All right, and this is where we do the keywords. Now you can see Google's already kind of chosen keywords from my website. It just chooses random words, puts them in there. What you want to do is when you go through your keyword list, you want to just choose the keywords that you're interested in, right? The ones that you choose.
Yeah.
You're just going to copy and simply paste those here. Okay. Now you will have keywords where you can choose if you want to do, I usually like to keep them broad in the beginning, but if you want to have a keyword that, let's say there's a keyword that's a very specific keyword that, let's say something like, as an example, where to buy PLR ebook. Right? Now, normally when you start off, you want to keep things general, right? But if you wanted an exact keyword that you're like, I want this to be quote unquote, when someone types in this word exactly, I want them to show them this ad. That's when you
Yeah.
use those parentheses there. Okay, so we call that exact match. All right, and then you got phrase match, which is just the quotes like this. That means someone can type, as long as your phrase is in there, they can also add words in the beginning or at the end. It will show your ad, right? But I always recommend when you're first starting ads, always keep it as a broad, we call them broad keywords, so that you will get more information. You want to kind of show your ads to as many people as you can in the beginning, get the most information you can there.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now we can see our ad strength is low because we've just started. So we're just going to go along here and fill out this information here. So this is what we call our headlines. So if you look here at my example, this is your headline for your ad. This is how it's going to show up in Google search when people search for your ad. This is our headlines. And this is our descriptions here. Right? And I'm going to show you how to do both of those. And in fact, what I'm going to do at the end of our session, I'm going to be sending you an email that's going to give you headlines that you can use as an example, so that you're kind of not lost in what to use for that. Okay.
Okay.
Now Google will also give you examples. So let's say if I'm looking here right? And I can look up here where it says view ideas, right? It can give me recommendations here, the stuff I can use here,
Mhm.
right? But they're not all the best thing to do, right? Like you're not going to probably use a lot of these. You could see a lot of these, they're not really relevant to what I'm selling here. So in that case, I probably wouldn't use those. I would just go with your own, right? So you could see they've already kind of filled in a few here, PLR products. And you want to try to use, in this case, there is a little hack here that we could do here. So if I type in, I'm typing in the curly bracket, I'm typing in PLR, and then close the curly bracket. See if that worked. No, let me try that again. Okay, curly bracket, keyword insertion. And I'm just going to type PLR in here. Okay, I'm going to make it all uppercase, apply. Right, and you can see now all of these, because all of these have PLR words in them, they're all green now. Right, so you can see now my ad strength has gone up. All right, so
Wow.
that's just a little hack there if you need it. And then you want to try to get as many headlines as you can in here, right? So I always just kind of go through here, basically what you think people would want to click when they're searching for this online, right? So you're going to have people searching for PLR ebooks, you know, PLR products. This one is already used, so let's go with MRR products. Right? And you're just kind of go through and fill these in here, okay? And also you can use your keywords, that similar keywords that here, right? But just keep in mind, you want to make it enticing to the customer, right? It wants to, something that when they see it, it's like, yeah, I'm definitely looking for this, you know, PLR products or MRR products. You want to make sure that that's what they're looking for.
Yeah.
Okay, and then your description here, again, you can also view your description ideas as well. If you click here, view ideas, right? They'll also kind of give you ideas here. This is a good one. Unlock the power of content marketing, elevate your online presence. That's a good one there for people who are health
That's,
coaches and stuff, right? So you want to go through these two, and I'll also send you a guide. It's going to give you some examples that you can use for your ads. So you don't have to worry too much about if you're stuck for words for this, for what to use for that. Okay. And then you also have the option of using ChatGPT too, if you want to try to generate some of those and see if you want to experiment with those as well.
yeah.
Images I recommend too. So if you go to images here, add images, right? And then if you don't have any images, you can also click to your website, right? And you could type in here, www. Let's just go for plrboulevard.com. And then it's going to basically just grab images from your website.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah. And so I don't have something spelled right here. But yeah, so basically it's just going to pull images for your website, choose whatever images you want from there, and then you can also include that in your ad. Now, keep in mind when you're choosing images, I recommend that you choose the more like one of these vertical images here. Sorry, horizontal images.
Amazon.
Yeah, go for something like that's horizontal. It'll just look better for the ad. Okay, so once you've added your image, you're just going to click OK, and you're going to go down here. So now if you're wanting to add a logo, just keep in mind you have to verify your Google Ads account. It's not necessary, it's not a make or break deal, but if you're wanting that your little logo image in there, you'll have to verify your Google account for that step. And then your site links, I'll show you how that looks. So your site links is basically, let's go ahead with one. So premium access might be one. I recommend for your site links using like your categories, right? So let's go ahead, we're gonna create a category here, if it's not already shown there. Right? And I'll usually go with like the common categories. So like personal development is a popular category of books that people are looking for. So you go personal development or self-improvement, whatever you choose. And then your final URL here, right? So that's going to be the link for your product, right? Let's just say, let's go to PLR Boulevard here, boulevard.com. If I'm spelling that right there. There we go. So it's basically going to be with the category, for example, right? So In this case, I think we're safe to go with probably the premium access as one, right? And if you do a
Yeah.
category, you would have to just click one of the categories and get the link. So if, let's say if my category was personal development, click personal development here, and it'll usually give me a link there. All right, and then that link, we're just gonna go put it in here.
Okay.
Okay, so once you click personal development, it'll usually give you a link on the top of the page here. It'll say, like, I believe, there you go. See, category equals to. We take that link and we just put it in here.
Yeah.
Right now, if not, you could also go with the premium access and then the pre-built website. Like I said, the high ticket item, pre-built website, super franchise. That's also a good way of getting clicks and people who are already interested in that ticket item. So I would recommend using those as well. Right. So once you've created those site links, they will show up on the bottom. So let's go as an example. Let's go ahead and add this one here. This is linking to your main page. Let's go ahead. This one here. And let's save that. So if you can have, 3 to 4 site links is good enough. And you'll see my ad is now showing a bit differently. You see those little links on the bottom?
Yeah.
That's what a site link is there. Right? So it's just showing those site links on the bottom there. Okay, so it lets your ad take up more space, and it just lets you show different pages on your website there. Okay, so once you've done the site links, you're going to do the callouts. Now, callouts is, like I said, this one is also an extra, just gives you extra space on your ads. And I would say try to go with at least 4 of these to add on your website, right? So go with ones that are relevant. Resell ebooks as your own, sell digital downloads. This is a good one. Start a 6-figure business. Just go with your favorite ones there. Keep 100% of profits. And then you see it just kind of adds those at the end of my ad, right? Just adding extra words at the end. Okay, so once you've added your callouts, you're going to click apply. And everything else looks good. So once that's good, you want to take a look at your optimization score. You can see we're actually decent, 83%. It's good. The only thing we're lacking here is the headline. So once I start adding more headlines, and probably improving my descriptions, you'll get close to 90% here. Okay.
Wow.
So, but anything above 80% is good. That's going to show your ads. You're going to be fine. The higher, the better. So once you're done, click next. And this is the part about your budget. So for the budget, normally what I recommend is, let's just say all my ads I was using, I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to sum these up, right? So if I'm going to sum these up, let's just say I'm going with these ads here. Let's just pretend these were all the ads I was going, let's say up to this green line here, right? And let's say it adds to $7. That should be like your minimum, because remember, this is your low bid range. So I usually take this number and I usually like to double that, right? So I can put this at, instead of $7, I could say my budget's gonna be, let's say $14, for example, right? And I would just set a custom budget here, and that's where you would set that number here, right? So I would say maybe $17. Now, another way of running this too is you could also run this based on what's your average product, right? So if you have ebooks, it's hard to get an average, right? But your ebooks, sometimes you're selling for $15, $20, some are $5, some are $7. I say a good average for ebooks is almost about $7. I'd say is a good average kind of ballpark range. And this is just telling us that we're spending $7 a day. But even if one person purchases that day, or it was, let's say, a slow day, only one person or 2 people purchase, you at least know that there's a high chance they're going to at least spend $7 on your website. Right. So your cost of ad is covered, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's another way of running your ads. There's 2 ways: is getting your low range bids, adding them together and putting that as a number, and putting it higher than this, putting it, close to double or almost double, or going with kind of what's your average cost for a product. Now, if this was something like, if we're running an ad for the franchise, let's say franchise website, this could be higher, right? Because if you get one sale from the franchise website, you being a direct collaborator with me, right? You're getting 40%. So that's kind of, you just work out the percentage, right? If you're like, okay, I'm making, let's say $300 from that sale, you can
Yeah.
right away say, hey, you know what, this is worth it more for me to put it daily. I might put this at 20 or 30 even, because you're only paying $30 for the ads, the rest you're pocketing, right?
Right.
So that depends on what kind of ad you're running. So once you put your budget, hit next, publish your campaign, and you will be good to go. That'll be your first Google ads ready to go there. All right, so yeah, it seems like a lot, but trust me, once you get your first ad going, you're gonna start understanding this, like, you're gonna start understanding things real quick once you start playing around with Google Ads. Like, this is one of the most powerful things for getting traffic to your website.